Well, how I got into material handling and how I started at Raymond Corporation are really one and the same. Being fresh out of high school, I didn't have a lot of skills, but I was given an opportunity to work on second shift. What I did was what was called a grinder, which was an entry-level position. In the building where I was grinding, there was what they called a stock room at the time, which was really a warehouse for all the components that they needed to have to make up the welds. And I kept watching what those guys were doing, and it looked like it was something that was very interesting. And I applied for a position there in the stock room, and I got it. And one of the things I really started to fall in love with is that I found that warehousing was a lot more than just moving parts and stuff around, but there's a real science to knowing where the parts are supposed to go and how much room do you need and getting things out on schedule. I really enjoyed what was happening. So back, I think I was like 23 years old. I was made a manager down there. And at the time, I was told that I was the youngest manager that Raymond had ever had. So about 1979, I guess it was, 1980, I wanted an opportunity to try to do something different. So they had a job opening for what they call a traffic manager, which is like logistics in Green. And I applied for that position and I got the job. And I did something that was probably a little unusual at the time. I went to my manager and I said, you really don't need a manager down there. You need to get this department consolidated in with the assembly group, which they did. And it made me be interested in a position that was available, and it was for the warehouse manager at the new parts distribution center. We had a couple of changes in management here, but soon afterwards I was made the general manager of the operation. And one of the things that I wanted to do is I wanted to understand what the dealers were seeing for our level of service and what could we do to help them. Along the lines of trying to determine what the dealers were looking for, we started to develop performance measurements that were important to show how well we were doing in servicing the dealer organization. One of the things that happened that was good in my career is that we had a need for a dealer principal down in New Orleans for a short period of time. And I was volunteered to take the position down there, which I did. But it did make you sensitive, if you will, to taking care of the end customer. And I think I still relate situations that I got into at the dealer site as when we're trying to solve problems through here too. I'd always encourage somebody to get involved. And I've had a lot of fun meeting people that have made their career in material handling. And one of the things that is so neat is that when you go to seminars, and you're surrounded by people that are in warehousing and some of them are in distribution, is we all have the same, if you will, energies around making sure that things are getting out on time, making sure that things are right, and making sure that our warehouse is laid out as effectively as it possibly could be. And what are you doing about this? And what are you doing about that? Because you find everybody's got similar, concerns and things that they want to resolve too. So it's always fun to be with others in the same industry and talk about that kind of thing too. I'm Jim Schaefer, General Manager of Operations for the Raymond Parts Distribution Center in Syracuse, New York, and I work in the supply chain.